Okay. First of all, I just want to say thank you, God. Um, Thank you, God, that I don't live the life that these people live. They live this life of disgustingness and try to make themselves believe that it's a fierce way of living life, when in reality, it's just a cowardness life. I want to say thank you, God, that I didn't live life in these disturbing ways. Um, and I only expect that. I only expect what they're going to do, and I see it as what it is, as way to try to break me down. Actually, 2 seconds ago, something really stupid happened. I mean, it's just too obvious, and they do the same routine. Um, but I'm just being thankful to God, uh, because as disturbing as it is, the only peace I get out of that is just the only peace I get to live this disturbing life, that to deal with the disturbing things they do to me. I find peace in knowing that, man, I could have been doing this. I could be them. To me, that's much worse than dealing with what I'm forced to be dealing with, to be manipulated in these ways. And it's just become now gimmicky to me. It's about how to try to sound like this is like try to make me believe that I'm not being manipulated, and it's just so pathetic at this point. And it takes somebody who has no self-respect. Shamefulness is something you cannot experience, regardless of how shameful what you do is. Um, so let me just start with an introduction. I'm a target individual. I'm a TI. I'm what you call a. It's so sad. I'm a target individual. I'm a human subject. As a human subject in a program that utilize defense technology, and as a human subject, like I keep saying, you hear the noise campaign. They're just trying to disorient me. Technology coming from the Department of Defense is utilized onto us. This technology destroys your body, and it's done remotely. You are not seeing who's doing that to you, and you're not seeing how this thing is happening to you, but you feel your body being destroyed. You feel your bones, your organs destroyed. But everything is done remotely. They do horrible things to your body, and sometimes you don't know exactly, but you know something destructive is happening to your organs. They do all kind of things, but the most destructive when it comes to psychological, because they break you down physically but psychologically too, using a technology that can manipulate your brain. The manipulation when it comes to your brain is unbelievable. They have the ability to do so much to your brain, make you think in every way possible. I am thankful that throughout the 4 years now of dealing with this psychological and physical torture used by V2K, synthetic telepathy, and direct energy. I'm not sure if the direct energy was applied to me before August 2019, but I know the synthetic telepathy and the V2K was the day where all of that happened. I have not been myself ever since that day. I've been forced to react, to think, to perceive in different disgusting ways, in ways that is meant to break this notion of who I am. My whole being has been changed in the way I think, perceive, uh, react, and my memories, and so much, everything you can imagine, manipulated, stimulations, sensations, thoughts, feelings, and all kind of just just manipulations. And you know yourself, and you're not yourself anymore, because you're just reacting in ways that you will not naturally react to things. You will not react to when you look at Children, for example, this is the most disgusting things they've done to me is the sexual stimulations, and they aim those sexual stimulations toward children. Matter of fact, 2 seconds ago, matter of fact, I just woke up. Immediately, when I try to stretch a little bit, they play with my genitals, and they have rewired. And I heard this person say this, and it makes sense. Well, they don't only rewire your body, rig your organs, destroy them, but they rig your mind. They rewire them your brain in different ways. They condition you in different ways. For example, this morning I just wake up. I try to stretch. They can control your sexual. They can control your organs, even your sexual organs. Immediately they start doing this contraction of my urethra in the sphincter. There's like a muscle there that they control your muscles, and then do this contraction. Immediately they do this contraction, and then start making me think of children. You understand? This is your private area. The reason why they do that is to condition your brain to think about kids in such a way. They really want to rewire you to continuously think about children in a sexual way. And then they want you to identify with the way they're manipulating you. I mean, first thing in the morning. It is disgusting. It is some disturbing things they do, and it shows what they're supposed to do. Their job currently is to make men and women think about children in a sexual way, and then their job is to gaslight them to make them believe that this is natural. Now that's why I thank God I could live this life. Now I'm not saying they don't enjoy that. I don't care, but thank God I'm not in living the life they live. Even if I was enjoying doing what they do, I'm just thankful. I'm just thankful to God. I'm so thankful. Regardless of whatever horrible thing I'm gonna go through, if life was the life of the way they live, I don't know how I would look at myself. Listen, what they do is not hard. It doesn't take any bravery. It doesn't take any dignity. Matter of fact, they have to diminish themselves in a sense of respect. They have to minimize the self-respect. They no longer have to respect themselves. If anything, you just have to make yourself like a bottom feeder. Because these people participating are not governmental, like they're just contracted individuals. They're not the people in charge. They're nobodies. They're far from anything special. As much as they love to present themselves in this fashion, they're truly nobodies. And so their job at this point is to make me believe this manipulation. And then I wake up, and I don't know, I have this like, I want to check YouTube really quick. That's something I like to do. I don't know why. And immediately I see this ad. And let me see. I see this ad. I don't know if you can see. You see this little girl here? They start giving me stimulation. It's so nasty. This little black girl. And they start giving me stimulations. I don't know. Let me zoom in. You see this little girl? Even me saying little girl, they're making it hard for me to say it without getting disgusting reaction. I see the ad, I'm like, oh. But right before that, somebody slammed the door. I said, I will cut you. It's the kind of gimmicks I have to deal with. And then they force me to get stimulations, sensations, weird feelings, something just played in my brain. I get some kind of reaction that is forced onto me. And for example, because this is a little black girl, every time they have that toward the little black girl, they're like, no, what we did like that, what you just felt there, is something you felt when you were a kid. We mapped it to you when you were a kid. You felt like that when you saw a kid when you were a kid. and give me this weird sensation. And I'm supposed to be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I'm not being manipulated then. I'm not experiencing anything that is forced onto me. And it's the nasty thing to do. Because, yes, they manipulate me to experience this. I will not experience this thing naturally. And so, after this, immediately they go through a repetition of all the horrible things they're going to do to me. You got to understand, these people truly sold their soul. I'm not going to say sold their soul to the devil, but to pedophiles at least. That's for sure. They sold their soul to pedophiles, and pedophilia is no longer something that it's something that they have accepted in their life as a tool, as a normalized it. It's so disgusting to the point where they tell me how they're gonna frame me. They're saying how they're gonna sell the children. Well, they tell me how they're gonna have one of their children say that I did something to them. I heard some of them say you raped my child, or you're gonna say that you raped this child, something like that. And then I'm gonna be framed by saying using that, like, you raped my child, and they're gonna frame me that way, that I raped their children, or they're gonna implant child porn. But something pedophilia centric, as always. And then when I'm going to go to jail because I've been framed in this disgusting pedophilia ways, they're gonna torture me. I'm gonna be stabbed, and so they go through all this after making me experience this. Now you understand the goal of what they're trying to do. Now I'm not saying what they're saying is not true. It's not true in regard of like what they're gonna do to me, in regard of framing me. But they want me to identify with the pedophilia things they make me experience. That right after they make me experience that, they tell me how I'm gonna be tortured. It sounds exactly like what you hear. Them trying to brainwashing you into accepting these manipulations. It's like me putting something in your pocket, and then when you see that in your pocket, something that shouldn't be in your pocket, you see that, I'm like, they're gonna torture you, they're gonna fry you, they're watching you, they're gonna do this and that, it's sharp, it's super sharp, and you're like, this is not somebody put this in my pocket. You're gonna scream, you're gonna cry, you're gonna, because what they want you to do, to start like looking at it, like, oh my gosh, oh no, I'm sorry, no, they're supposed to make you believe like that's the issue now. This nasty. And they use these childlike people who have no shame, right? And they start using these tonalities. You're gonna cry. You're gonna do this. Start playing. Now listen, for them they just use it like they're almost gimmicky about it, to the point where it seems like they kind of find it comical. I could have been them. I could have lived that life. Yesterday was so nasty. They did so much. Like, this is something I took a screenshot. Whatever they're gonna do to me, whatever, I'm gonna make a video about it. I'm gonna show, like, this is the nasty things. So with black little girls like that, what they try to say is like, you felt like that when you were a kid. Remember? Does it not feel like something you felt like when you were like a preteen or early teen or something like that? And then they talk about the stupid thing I did when I was a child. When I was in middle school, I did something stupid, which they try to exaggerate. Now, kids at that age can do something like that. When I look back at it as an adult, I'm like, oh, it's embarrassing. But I know that's what kids are capable of doing. I'm not a child. I'm a grown man, and I'm an adult who understand that kids can do that, and they understand that too. But because they do this pedophilia type of torture, they want you to start like find the logic and rationality of how you're being manipulated today. And they want you to be like, no, your brain now is made to be a child brain now. Like they will make your brain match the brain that you had when you were like 13, 14, and even younger. Right? These people have been doing terrible things to babies. They are very pedophilia centric. This torture of pedophilia is being done by so many, have been applied by others have been applied on others too. So they do these nasty things to men, women, and torture children sexually. Babies like that are being tortured by this low life, younger than this little girl. So not only they're harmful to children, but they do this pedophilia type of torture. And the entities running this program happen to have a lot of problem with pedophilia. I keep bringing that up. 2019, the bill that's supposed to help limit the amount of child porn download created and accessed and circulating DoD network. They were trying. This bill is meant to stop or to limit the amount of child porn that is being circulating and shared and created using Pentagon devices and DoD network. They were ranked 19th out of 2,900. Those are the same entity running this program. So you understand they're truly sold their soul to pedophiles. It's no longer something I just say. They have big problem pedophilia. And they've been using pedophilia as a way to torment you. And then they manipulate your brain these ways to the point where they talk about how they make your brain be a child's brain now. And to them it's a logic that you should be subscriptive to. That they mapped it to you when you were a kid. To a brain that was developing. This is stupid. And it's falsified because this is not how you felt. You didn't look at a little girl and you get stimulation. But they try to make it feel like that's what you felt when you were a child. And you're an adult man. And it's nasty. And really your memories can be played with to get you to feel like, oh no, you felt something similar like that when you were a kid. Like, I'm 30 some years old. I'm not going to be ever subscriptive to this nastiness. Because I'm an adult and I should not have a brain of a child. And you should not make somebody think the way they think when they were children. This is stupid. This sounds retarded. But even that is falsified. But this falsified thing that you're saying to me even is on its own on the spectrum. And by the way, they've been saying some. I remember early on they were just even worse. They're like, yeah, no, it's you when you were 14, and like he was serious. I'm like, Jesus. It's just like that stupidity have the level of stupidity, but that's been what they've been doing. I'll make a video specific to that and bring up the reality of things really quickly. Now, yesterday night, my gosh, today, just like many days, they now use the things they make me experience as their validation. What they've done is disgusting. They brought up some of the manipulations. Some more extreme than others. Some of them they really showed off a little bit more than others. They have the ability to manipulate your perceptions. It's crazy. I have had some perception manipulation that was so damn near hallucinative, almost. And it's just unbelievable the way that they can make you see things in such a different way. I made this video a while ago. I remember coming back at the time I was with somebody who was a perp, of course. I'm in a car. We're driving to a museum, and I'm looking around, and I see this cop. Obviously the law enforcement is involved, all kind of people involved, and their job is to also make you accept this thing. Everybody around you, and he's looking at his phone. And he's like, they have these ways of just pretending because they're looking at their phone. That's validation. They're like, oh, they caught you. So they're looking at their phone. He's looking at his phone very pretending he's seeing things or whatever, or make it seem like because he saw this thing that just happened to you, you should be accepting of it. It's like, oh yeah. And then I'm like, it's just very positioned in a way that is orchestrated. Then out of nowhere, somebody walked by. They're wearing this this not winter jacket but a fall jacket that gets to almost that past your your butt area. It goes it's a long jacket that gets over your butt area, so it passes over that. And from afar, it looks just like a regular adult. And I'm not paying too much attention, but I'm getting a weird feeling. It's like, oh, why am I feeling this weird feeling, this weird sensation? That's an adult. They don't do that usually. And then and I get the sensation, this stimulation. I'm like, what is that? Why? This is just a, it's nothing special. You're just a regular adult, covered up and everything. Like, I would, why would they do that to an adult? Usually they do that toward children to then be like, oh, you see, we caught you. And then I look closer, and I'm like, kind of try to immediately, as this is not an adult, it's a 10-year-old kid. For a second there, when there was nobody around her, or because a 10-year-old is a tiny small person, but because there's nobody that was taller than her at the time, I thought that person was an adult. It took me a second, and then I look closer. I see this is a kid. It's like a young kid, like a 10-year-old. And for a second there, I swear I thought this person was an adult, like an adult. And finding out she's not even a teenager. That's like a kid, a 10-year-old. Like it's not like a kid that you've been confused to be an adult. It was a baby, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, how did? In my brain, truly, I saw this person as an adult-looking person. Then 2 seconds, when I'm looking more careful, I'm like, that's like a young kid too. It's not like some teenager that you see from behind that you think, okay, that person like is an adult or whatever. No, there is no way you can confuse that person to be an adult. I mean, I'm talking about 10 years old, for sure preteen, 10, 11. And I'm like, what? And then immediately when I started noticing her for the 10-year-old kid that she is, they try to make me imagine some sexual things about her. And she had, like, listen, she even had like a jacket that covered like her butt area. It's cold. It's a long jacket. They tried, or they were making me imagine like her bottom in a womanly way. This is a 10-year-old, and it's a 10-year-old, and on top of that, she's wearing a jacket that covered. But the way they can create imagination is so nasty. And then because there's no way, like it's already like crazy that they try to make me imagine this kid's back area that is even covered. They then try to work on her legs, try to give this kid like legs of like voluptuous like legs with like womanly legs. This little kid little legs. So this is the nasty things they do. And today, for example, they like bringing that. Last night they were bringing that up. It's like, you see, that's the nasty things they do. It is disturbing. Manipulation of my memories, manipulation of my real-time reactions is all I deal with. Manipulation of my reactions is all I deal with. It's so nasty. Day in and day out is their job to get you to break me down using this thing. It is tiresome. You see the videos I make, but I'm thankful I make those videos, because I look back, in every ways I just been showing a pattern, and I've been saying this. It's gonna happen all the time. When I see a little black girl, they're gonna be like, no, we mapped that feeling that you're feeling, this weird sensation that they said, no, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. You feel like, you see, that's how you felt when you were a kid, when you're in middle school, or when you're even younger. And they're like, oh, you're going to be castrated. First of all, you're saying that you're making my brain damn near, like you make it being, I don't want to use that word, but what happens, like when you have an adult who has a brain of a child, there's terms for that. That's what you're making me be then, which is falsified. You are forcing me to experience sensation, and then you try to make it seem like I felt like that, and bring up a feeling of me when I'm a kid, and try to morph it together. So that's what they do when it's black little girls. Other little girls is different, like it's not different, but they give me different stimulation sensations, that sometimes perception they're giving them, like they make me look at them in a way that is just like I would look at an adult woman. It is so nasty. Nasty. And it's always what they do. And the memories they've changed. Oh my gosh, with new narrative. One thing they've done, my memories is so disgusting, is try to create, because what I did when I was a kid is something I did once as a child, showing the impulsiveness of a child. These people are trying to create these false patterns, right? So what the way they create false pattern is they start falsifying memories. One thing they did, I remember when I was a kid, like in middle school, and I was meant to like hold for a second like a baby. Like the baby was like 2 3 months. This is adorable baby, this fat baby. But the baby was teething, and the mother and my cousins were like, okay, can you hold the baby for a minute? I'm sitting down watching TV. I'm holding the baby, and the baby wanted to put everything in their mouth. So she'll try to grab your finger and put it in the mouth and chew on it. It'll be a lot of saliva. It's kind of nasty, but the baby was going through that, and then she should try to chew and just like saliva would just fall out of her, and and so now the way they try to make it seems like, no, you like that, you like that, you want it, and try to turn into sexual things, like, no, you like that, he was giving you sexual, it's like a sexual, it's like, no, trash ass. They just try to turn that moment into something sexual to create this false pattern, and it was actually kind of disgusting when she did that. Like, you had to wash your hand because it was so full of saliva. I was like, oh, it was just like nasty. And you can see the mother. She was such a like she was a mother. She would let the baby chew on until they get the pacifier. And it was like, oh, it was kind of nasty. But what she did is like, oh, okay. And sometimes like she would try, she would try to bite. She tried to like you have to like move around and grab her cheeks. It's so nasty, but not try to turn into something sexual. It's like, now you wanted to put the finger in the, oh. Changing it in this ways. It's so nasty. Oof. And creating this new version. It's so nasty. But that's the things. They are rewiring reality, rewiring your reactions, rewiring you as a whole. Your body, your organs are being destroyed. Like things in my brain and my organs are not the way they should be. It is so nasty. Now listen, whatever horrible things I'm going to go through, first of all, I just want to say thank you, God, for making me see how low life could have been for me. When they say their shamefulness, this is beyond shameful. It's disgraceful. It's disgracefulness. And because they're doing that as a number, there's a lot of people doing that. This is a program run by the government, and they have a bunch of perps around you. They can dismiss the disgrace, how disgraceful it is, how shameful it is. They say, I'm not perfect. I have my imperfection. But the way they've been changing the reality and my reactions and manipulating me, it's disgusting. But there's one thing worse than that, is being them. I know I say that a lot, but it's true. And I will continuously say the same thing as long as I can say it. First of all, there's power in words. I know that the more I say it, it doesn't change what's going to happen to me, but speaking it, saying it, putting that out in the universe will come back the way it needs to be come back to them. In the meantime, for target individual, if you ever even doubt, don't doubt yourself. Do not identify with this nasty manipulations. These people are truly cowards. But the fierceness you hear in them when they talk to you, because they're not being seen. It's life of, I mean, I gotta finish this with this. It takes bravery to be this level of cowardness. That's all I can say. Their strength is within the cowardness they can reach. It's crazy. And then they tell me, they have no shame in the sense that it's obvious I'm being manipulated. But then they're like, oh, He saw that. I've been making videos for at this point 3 years or so. I've been showing everything they've been doing to me, and so every day there'll be something that's manipulating, disturbing ways. It's gonna be the same thing. They're gonna do the noise campaign. They're gonna slam the doors. They're going every day. They're gonna orchestrate something. For example, this ad. Then later on, it'll be something else. It's nonstop. At this point, I am validated that everybody who sees me via whatever devices sees what I'm experiencing, see how I'm reacting, is fully aware that my brain is being manipulated to experience these things. I don't have doubt, and they're gonna participate in whatever it needs to be done for me to accept this manipulation as if I'm not being manipulated. And regardless of how much I scream at that, I will never identify, especially finding out that the reality of who's the pedophiles, the humiliation of reality, the true disgracefulness is these people involved in this program work for entities that have big time problem with pedophilia, big time. And they're telling you now this feeling when you see black little girls, we mapped it to you when you were a kid. While working for entities where pedophilia is such an issue that a bill passed in order to limit the amount of child porn being downloaded, accessed, and circulated, and created, by the way, using Pentagon devices and DoD network. They were ranked 19th out of 2,900. So when they make themselves angry, oh, you go pay off, it's gonna be brutal. It's like trash. You work for pedophiles, and they torture children sexually. You know, when they like one thing they like to use, right, and make themselves angry. Oh, you're gonna pay for what you did when you were a kid. When I was in middle school, like I said, I did this stupid thing to myself, which is why they create these patterns of false patterns of creating false things, like the thing with this baby. I did something stupid to myself that never happened again. That's a child-minded individuals doing that. It's a child doing something stupid, doing something impulsive. It never happened again. They are in a program that literally torture children sexually, suffocating them, doing horrible things. So every time they try to play this, like use that as a way to like fuel themselves into like, oh, we'll pay for it. I listen to what they do to children. I hear the tortures, the suffocations, the sexual torture, the blinding, all these horrible things they do that to kids today. And I'm like, where's your emotion now? What happened to this anger? This is abuse. This is beyond abuse. This is something else. This is torture. You are involved in a program that tortures children, and you think I'm gonna let you escape that? And you're gonna make me think of me as a freaking middle schooler doing some impulsive thing as a child while you're in a program that does these things to kids. You think I'm gonna let you live your fantasy because you try to counter this? For example, what I'm speaking about it right now, these perps are opening the door and being very like aggressive because they want to diverge away from the fact they torture children in sexual ways and others, suffocating children and everything else. Babies 3 week old tortured. The horrible things they do to children, and not even bring up women, because women is another level. Like this is just like, but children, the way they are so brutal to them, using these defense technologies, just things that they don't even deserve to. The things that needs to be done to them is not on this earth. It's not on this earth. And for me, they're gonna project that onto me. So for me, the theater of torture is gonna be crazy. Because can you imagine being humiliated by this reality? I'm validated they do the pedophilia type of torture. I'm validated that the entities running this program have problem with pedophilia, big time. Like they're ranked 19th out of 3,000 or 2,900 in regard of sharing child porn using the DoD network. 19 out of 2,900 in regard of the most child porn shared within the network. They torture children testimonials are pretty detailed about how they do horrible things to kids. They have been manipulating the brain in these disgusting pedophilia ways. Some of the testimonies sound exactly like what I'm saying. Exactly, it's surreal. But the testimony was done so long ago. Not even so long ago. We're talking about 2011, 2007, and of course 2018. Some of it is so obvious that they do the pedophilia type of torture that within a survey, almost a survey of 1,000, almost all of them were saying that they forced child porn in their mind. Out of petitions, some of the symptom was remote pedophilia. In ways that you cannot, everything's validated. Now, when they try to play it all for the women, the horrible torture of women, Jesus. The horrible way they torture women is just disturbing. And even the way they try to create this psyop, one thing you're gonna hear is target individuals, they try to make you believe that this is anything but a massive government. Anything by a massive government doing that to you. And so they create this bubble of false reality, and the people are supposed to present themselves as everything else, right? Some of them believe that, target individual believe, oh, this is like a satanic cult, this is that, this is like like a mafia, the Russian mafia, the government, the mafia, the Russian government, the Chinese government, this crime ring. It's like, no, this is run by the government. It's funded by the government. It's resourced by the government. And governmental entities linked to the DoD are running this program. And not only the DoD, but also the intelligence community in regard to the CIA, who've had legacies of working within programs that is meant to manipulate the mind and perhaps mind control. I'm talking about MK Ultra, and have big expertise, serious legacy of expertise in regard of manipulations of the mind. And so they combine these entities together, and we're just the test subjects for these weapons. And they contract these losers who are trying to make this thing a whole different reality from the reality. Target individuals, do not forget this reality. Regardless of who's involved in what fantasy they create, whatever psyops and whatever storylines and however they try to vilify, see yourself as this. You are, unfortunately, a test subject. You're a database for them. The rest is going to be acting accordingly for you to believe something else. Do not identify with the manipulation you experience. The thoughts that are manipulating into you to have, your memories, you're no longer yourself. You're just something else manipulated. And these trash are just the bottom feeders who are just the trash of the government that is meant to trash you. So to all my target individual, stay strong, because it is fate that we get this level of validations. This could have happened at a time where access to information was very tough. But now I know these people are torturing children. I know they're torturing women. I know they're ranked top tier in regard to child porn circulations. I know mass shootings are caused by this low life. I know all this information. I know even with the psyops, I know women saying there's a lot of females, because for me there's a lot of females try to create this like femme fatale like facade, exposing them. There's a lot of females doing this to a woman. What kind of, you're not even a woman. That's what she said, this woman, this target individual. You're not even a woman. What kind of woman can sit there and involve themselves in that? This trash. So it is fate, target individual, that you could have been this trash, being involved in all these nasty things. A coward whose job is to sound a certain way remotely. It's fakes. You're gonna die. That's how they sound to me via V2K. You fake, you're gonna scream. I'm like, that's like a child trying to sound convincing. So all my target individuals, stay strong.